Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, we're getting some diesel because today we're going on a 16-hour road trip to pick up something epic, and this is going to be game-changing for the Volkswagen. So I'm excited to show you guys what we're going to pick up, but for now, let's make sure we got some fuel, and we're going to head to Michigan to pick up what we're going to see is like incredibly mint. There we go, topped off. Gotta love the smell of diesel fuel at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it didn't need much, but just want to minimize the stops on the way up because we do have a long day ahead of us. Here we go. Little fuel stop here, about 2.5 hours into our trip. I needed to stretch my legs a little bit, and I could see my breath right now, so it probably is 20 degrees colder than it was out by home. So we're about, like I said, 2.5 hours into it. I'm gonna do a hand calculation of the gas mileage that I got from home to here after we fill up, about half a tank into the trip. So I'm gonna say I think it was about 200 miles or so, maybe a little bit less. So let's see what it comes out to. But right now, like I said, I think it's gonna take about 13 probably to 15 gallons, maybe even a little less. Okay, I lied. It's coming up on 12 gallons. So there you go, 11.945. So if you can see the trip meter here, it's 263.9 kilometers. So we're gonna say 264. And then we're going to do 164 because that's what it pretty much comes out to in miles divided by 12 gallons. So 13.6 miles to the gallon, doing about 65 give or take. But you got to think about this vehicle weighs probably more than 6,000 pounds with the rooftop tent, roof rack, and 35s. 363 miles to go, guys. We're getting there, we're getting there. Well, guys, we finally got some light. It's been dark this entire time. It's currently 7:33. We got 2 hours and 49 minutes and about 192 miles to go. We've been on this trip since 2 a.m. I got plenty of sleep, so I'm glad about that because driving, except stopping for fuel, kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. This is the longest trip we've been on with the Land Cruiser since I've owned it for the last 2 years. But it's performing well so far. The gas mileage is not the greatest, but what do you expect when you're driving a 6,000 plus pound pig? Another fuel stop, about half a tank again. I keep stopping early because I'm not sure when the next rest stop is. It's 70 miles or so, and I really don't feel like stopping later in town. I just want to make sure I have at least half a tank when I go pick up the goods, and then just can get right back in the car and head back home because it's going to be a long day. So we'll see how much this fuel up will be. It's probably going to be around the same as before. I'd say around, what, 12 gallons? There you go. Almost 12 again. I hate that 01. Urgh. So the last fill up lasted till 257 kilometers, which is pretty much just shy of 160 miles. So we're gonna do 160 divided by 11.5, and that is 13.9. So we got slightly better gas mileage on this last run, almost 14 miles to the gallon, 0.3 better than the previous fill up, but that's pretty good. So I'm gonna go inside, use the restroom real quick, and we'll hit back on the road. Got a full tank. 2 hours and 38 minutes, 177 miles to go. To some of you, this might not be a big upgrade, but to me and others that like attention to detail, it's definitely a big upgrade. It's going to be about 50% considering we left at 2 a.m., I wasn't shocked that we didn't hit any traffic, but looks like we broke that trend and we finally hit our first patch of traffic here. It's in a construction zone, so I'm hoping it passes within the next mile. But good news, we have 34 minutes and 29 miles to go. So hopefully once we get past this construction, we'll be in the clear and we'll continue our journey. All right, guys, we have arrived at our location about 8.5 hours later due to the pit stops, fuel stops, and I had to take a leak. So we are here with David. He is also a Mark I fanatic, and I'm going to show you guys what we're picking up here. And big thanks to him, because without him, he never even listed any of this stuff online. We just happened to talk about it. He was looking for a black interior. I could not provide that to him, being that some of mine is red. I only had black Corrado seats in my car, and they're kind of beat to crap, so I wasn't going to offer those to him. So I've been looking for like the OEM finish for the longest time, because I really want to keep the car sort of a sleeper, but also have that OEM look to it. So I'm looking for an OEM plus, so to say, besides the work wheels that are on the car right now, or should I say end keys? I apologize. But this is pretty much what I drove 8.5 hours for, because you cannot find it anywhere else in the US. So here we have a 1984 full red interior for a Mark I GTI. And literally you cannot find like even just like a door panel or the rear panel or a pillar panel. You can't find any of that in mint condition on any of the Mark I groups. Otherwise they're beat to crap. Like the ones in my car, they're terrible. So if you look at like the front seats, they're literally in mint condition. Every single one that I've seen has like rips down the center, or the bolsters are ripped, or there's cigarette holes in it. So these are incredibly mint. You got the rear seat, 2 front seats, you got the rear carpets, the rear panels, you got the rear pillars. You even have a red shift boot, which I'm sure David will attest to, that it is nearly impossible to find in mint condition, or even period.
They are pretty ripped.
So even the red center console here, I have one, but mine's fading away. You got the door panels.
All your
look at that.
For the door handle covers.
Seat belts, you got receivers, the handbrake cover.
These go on the roof for your hangers.
So literally every single piece for the red interior is in this pile.
Side of the dash.
Look at that. And here we have one of the most important pieces, is the red dash. For Mark I's, I know mine has a couple of holes on the top, like right in here. So I got a dash mat for mine, but it's nearly impossible to find a dash with either no cracks or no holes. So look at that. Mint. I mean, it's got some dust because it's been sitting. I did buy this from David about maybe I'd say 6 or 7 months ago, and obviously this was before everything that's been going on, and obviously we are keeping our distance, so therefore I'm finally being able to pick it up, because just work, time, and again the 8.5 hour drive didn't allow me to do it. And even has the red rubber floor mats that I will be cleaning and will bring back to life. So it has everything you can imagine for a red interior for a Mark I. So I'm extremely excited to
Windshield.
yeah, I don't have that on mine. So look at that. Everything, guys. So the Rabbit's gonna look that much better now. I'm gonna be able to take all the crusty stuff out and replace it with this mint condition interior. Well, I drove 8.5 hours, so I'm definitely not gonna leave without figuring out what's going on here with David's project, because I know when we spoke, he told me the story about how this car right here, this 4-door Rabbit, was the first Rabbit that he's owned, and he was lucky enough to talk to the owner and he bought it back. He's gonna give a little bit of a story on it, but that's just like the background that I had before I met him. So take it away, David.
So the story is, in high school, this was my first like slammed car, you know, have fun, whatever, manual. And I had it for, I don't know, 2 years. And then when I got out of high school, I sold it. And then probably 6 years later, I bought it back from now one of my good friends. And it did have an ABA in it, and it was a late Westie. And It was pretty much completely rotted out. It didn't have any floor pans, pretty much. The quarters were gone. There's holes in the doors. Now it's got floors, frame rails, getting quarters, getting the rear end done, getting the front end done. There's dents on pretty much every body panel that I need to touch. 180 swap.
So it is a work in progress.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, look at it. He's literally taking the time to do everything right. It's stripped. He's doing body work. Again, he, like you say, replaced the floor pans, the rockers, and all that. And then here, he's got a 1.8T ready to go back in the car as well. When the car's done, he's gonna drop this in there. So it's gonna make around, how much you said?
Hopefully around 4 to 450.
So imagine 450 wheel horsepower in this little Rabbit. So I mean, from my knowledge, they weigh around 1,700 to anywhere between 2,000 pounds, give or take, depending on what you have in it. So imagine that, 450 wheel horsepower out of this little thing with a tiny turbo kicking around this car. So it's literally like a legal go-kart. And that's what, you know, my car is slow, but it has an ABA and it's not the factory engine in it, so it still moves. Again, 1,700 pounds, it's extremely light. And I appreciate David for giving me, or I should say, selling me this mint interior, because I've been looking for bits and pieces in mine that were either cracked, broken, not there, or were replaced by something, you know, that was beat to crap. So now we have everything. Like literally you cannot find any other piece that I would need to replace the entire interior in my car. So this is gonna be another project for the Rabbit. Again, thank you, David, for showing us your 4-door, and I can't wait to see this done because it's gonna be painted, swapped, and everything else is pretty much gonna be brand new. So I can definitely attest to being able to restore something. As you guys remember, the GTR, that was something that we spent over 3 years doing, and I just kind of lost it at one point when the trans blew. I just wasn't motivated to put any more time into it because it took forever. So it's nice to see somebody else taking literally something that they owned during high school, rebuilding it and making it their own, because I'm sure you're probably never gonna sell this car after you're done with it.
I put too much, it's not even worth it.
Yeah, so I mean, he went through the trouble to find it after he sold it, so that just goes to say that he's gonna keep this car for a long, long time. And I appreciate work like this, like stuff that you literally take apart and you want to keep forever. This is where it's at. So he's also got a YouTube channel. What is it?
David Beal 4.
Okay.
That's the number 4 at the end.
David Beal 4. I'll link his channel in the description below. I'll also put his tag in the video. You guys could follow his build because I know he makes videos. I saw one of his last videos, so this is cool to view. And I know a lot of people on the channel like rabbits, so this is definitely the content that you want to keep up with. And again, David, thank you very much for the interior. We're gonna load it up here, and then we're gonna make the 8.5-hour drive back home. Well, guys, the interior is all loaded up. Got the carpet bagged up because there's a little bit of glue on the bottom of it, so I don't want it to get over anything else. We got the dash, the seats, the back seat. Everything's in here, so it fit perfectly. Land Cruiser is a hauler, and we're getting ready to go back on an 8.5-hour trip back to good old PA. Thank you, David, very much. I appreciate it. Yeah. The drive wasn't too long. There was no traffic, but I'm hoping that I don't hit traffic on the way back. And again, if you guys want to follow his build, again, I will put his YouTube channel down in the comments below along with his tag. He's also got Instagram, so you can follow that. If anybody's on the Mark 1 groups, I'm sure you've seen it as well. Check this out. So we got 428.6 kilometers. I'm gonna say 429. So 429 kilometers is about 266 miles. So we did 266 miles divided by 18.4, which was this fill up, and we're at 14.45. So it seems that the miles per gallon are getting better every single fill up. So I'm assuming we'll probably hit around 15 miles to the gallon by the time we stop at the next station. I have about 500 miles to go, and we're en route back home. Here's another fuel stop on the way home. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure if the Sunoco diesel fuel is crap or if the Love's gas station that I was at previously when I left Ohio or when I left Michigan was just really good, because I think the miles per gallon were way better now than they were the last 3 fill-ups. So we'll see what it comes out to. So here we got 315.8 kilometers. So that'll be 316 kilometers, which comes out to about 196 miles. So the fill-up was 196 divided by 12.4. Look at that. So 15.8. So I don't know if anybody could tell me, but the diesel fuel from Love's that I got in Michigan pretty much gave me a, what, we were 14.5, so a 1.3 increase in miles per gallon than Sunoco fuel. And I just filled up at Sunoco, but I honestly think that the Sunoco diesel fuel sucks. So we'll see what the next one will be, but this is pretty crazy. So look at that, 15.8. Well guys, that's gonna do it for today's upload. I really hope you guys enjoyed the journey to Michigan and back. I still have about 3.5 hours to go until I get home. So I'm gonna leave you guys on this one. And again, I'm curious, message down below, because I'm wondering, the fuel mileage between the Sunoco and the Love's was interesting. Between the first fill up and the last fill up, it was about, what, 13.6 to 15.8. So it was a big difference. So I'm curious what you guys have to think about that. I hope you guys enjoyed the interior. That's a big change for me and something that I really like, and the minor details matter to me, and some of you too, but some of you might not think it's nice. But regardless, if you'd like to upload, please like, share the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and there'll be more and more content coming soon. Take care, guys.